welcome you to the panel discussion. Lot many challenges are faced by the present day cold chain logistic. Temperature sensitive goods demands is increasing, volumes are increasing. So how smart logistic systems are reducing energy consumption and carbon emission in cold storage and transportation? Question is open to all.
Well, I can begin with the answer. I think a number of fellow panelists provided a very good perspective on how the different segments are working together to achieve sustainable cold chain. In my presentation, also, I covered that what are some of the technologies, or if we talk about energy efficiency, integration with the existing infra in the upcoming infra, how these components can lead to some of the emission reduction and potential savings that it might have. It again depends upon the type of cold chain facility we are catering to, we are talking about size, the sort of produce it is storing. This ranges from produce to produce. Uh, However, the design component, I mean, I'm again a little bit deviating from the question, but talking about why these emissions, or rather than the quantity of these emissions or quantity of these potential, it is important, like Mr. Shaukat Ali indicated, that design component, how these are being designed, how are there any compliances, are there any regulatory checks that can be placed to make it more efficient, to make it more operationally efficient, not just design efficient, operationally efficient, and having the workforce in place to handle these cold chain facilities is something, an essential component to move towards developing a sustainable cold chain.
Thank you very much for sharing those views. Can we have views of Mr. Farooqi?
Yeah, that Dr. Gupta has very rightly said everything. My small input is that once we are able to measure the energy consumption on per unit or per pallet basis, and then set target that where we have to go. Okay, suppose a pallet per pallet, the sale rate in the frozen atmosphere is ranges from 1,000 rupee per pallet to 2,000 rupee per pallet in different cities, different locations. The ideal consumption per pallet should range around the cost of the energy consumption should be around 250 to 275 rupee per pallet. Okay, if we are able to measure that, verify that what I am saying is correct or in that range, then we can probably look at that how to reduce it further. Now, for the reduction, taking a clue from Jeevan, that how do we operate the cold store? How many door openings are there in 1 hour? Because once the door of the cold store opens, the temperature goes out, the hot air goes in, it puts the pressure on the system, and the energy consumption goes up. So we are able to control that. And there are many ways to control that. When the door is open, that you can put and there are automatic doors, air curtains, etc., etc. A minute more to tell about that. Snowman in 1997 started a retail store called Monday to Sunday. Probably Jeevan may be aware of that. It was in Indranagar. It was the first store in India which was having open shelf freezers, having only air curtain to control the temperature. Still, the products kept in the shelf were at -20. It was a cupboard freezers, open shelf without door. Controlled temperature was controlled from coming outside through the air curtain itself. So that technology was there 30 years ago. Unfortunately, that project did not succeed. Otherwise, you would have seen that many such stores in India. Probably last fortnight, I saw one in Delhi somewhere. So a lot more has to be done in that, to measure that what is happening and then take the correctives. Okay. Thank you.
Nice sharing. We have to measure and then take the steps. Mr. Bose, can we have your views, please? You are into the digital technology and you have started during the COVID times.
Hi, Mr. Anand. Yeah, so digital technology is honestly not the only thing we are in. In fact, digital technology was created to answer a lot of things that Mr. Farooqi said when he was giving his introduction about how to safeguard food security, food safety, how to make processes more efficient, how to utilize energy more properly. One of the points he brought up was plugging in a refrigerated vehicle onto an outlet instead of burning fuel, and which in turn does increase the pollution, usage of fossil fuel. Everything goes wrong at that point. Getting solar energy installed, getting alternative sources of energy used. When it comes to the coal supply chain, we realize that if you want to bring about some change, first you will need to grow to a scale where what you do actually does make a change. Instead of just being another asset owner, putting up a few cold storages and then being a part of cold chain economy, you won't be able to bring any effective change. In fact, when Mr. Farooqi was talking, I wanted to tell him that yes, we can tell you exactly of all the vehicles running on our platform, exactly how much time it took to unload each vehicle in each city, in each cold storage, which cold storages took the maximum amount of time, which storages took the minimum amount of time. We can, in fact, give you data about transit usage, how much fuel was used, how many hours of AC halting was done, where all we have alternative systems where AC can be plugged in, where all we don't have. The cold storages that we adopt and we take over, we can tell you exactly the average hours it requires to unload at that cold storage. He's right in one point that unloading at most of the cold storages take anywhere between 24 to 72 hours, which is a massive, massive fault because we are using a lot of fossil fuels in such a situation where it is an absolute waste of time and money for everyone involved. I can tell you, as per our data, average it takes about 6 to 7 hours at the cold storages where we operate, where our own vehicles are coming to unload. We track that very closely. So one of the best part about building a tech ecosystem is now you're able to monitor everything remotely. Nothing goes through the system without actually having a tech part, a component to it. And not just IoT devices. I'm talking about data analytics, data science, mining the data that you have, understanding and learning from it. So going ahead, we are looking at setting up more storages with our partners, which will be concentrated on energy consumption, how to save on electricity, what systems to putting up solar facilities right from the beginning. So these are the kind of changes that we are trying to do. And yes, we are on our way, still not there. We have a long way to go ahead, but the more we are able to successfully upgrade and implement the systems that we are trying to make, we try to bring about the change that we need in the cold supply chain.
That's right. You are just mentioning about the technology part of it. So what digital technologies are taking place in cold supply chain, like smart sensors or cloud platforms and machine learnings? So many things are there. While you were talking about the unbroken cold chain during your discussion.
So see, when it comes to technology today, it's not just about machine learning or integration of AI, or we are talking about the advanced systems of refrigeration that we are using nowadays. I'm also talking about how the actual process of managing inventory is happening. You will see a lot of the warehouses having adopted HHDs, handheld devices, to do their picking, to manage inventory. We are having trained workers, blue collar staff, who have been trained on how to use the HHDs today. Now, I don't think any of our warehouses or many of the other warehouses also, they do manual picking anymore. It's all driven by technology. We are seeing a lot of integration of AI into inventory management. So it's not just a software support anymore, there's actually integration of AI. We are working on a blockchain system that we hope to bring about by next year, where blockchain integration into the cold supply chain right from the farm or a manufacturing unit, right up to export, right up to consumer across the world. Any customer who's looking to import things from India, we are looking to help them with a blockchain system which will integrate the entire supply chain. Now, that's also something we have been actively working on, but obviously it takes time to build it. And by next year, we'll try to get it. And beyond blockchain, we are also looking to integrate railways into our supply chain. So we are building tech around it on how to do the booking, how to monitor, how to work with the government agencies to scale that up. So a lot of exciting things happening even in technology-wise.
Yeah, quite nice sharing about the integration of all the services and the systems available. Mr. Jeevan, you were talking about the manpower and innovations. So while talking about energy consumptions, what opportunities do you see to reduce energy uses without compromising the temperature control?
See, again, there will be, I'll try to answer it into taking consideration of the warehousing as well as the logistics of it. So in warehousing, again, as Farooqi ji mentioned that you should be able to gauge the per pallet energy cost, which definitely infrastructure and organization like ours do on daily basis, because like we are a completely pallet owned organization, right? We completely operate in a pelletized manner, and that too is again standardized on our pan India cold warehouses. So definitely we know what it goes behind a pallet, whether it is energy, whether it is manpower cost, whether it is value added services. So knowing that if we are operating a chamber and this will be the minimum energy usage, so we always try to accommodate minimum customers in one chamber, or I'll put it another way, we try to kind of sell one chamber to a single customer, because if there is a single customer, you have a control on its entire inventory, right? Sometimes you can educate a customer, though it will not be done on day one, because a customer will come along with a existing supply chain of theirs, right? You just have to guide them that logistics being a good part of the costing of their supply chain, if we are into picture, so how we can reduce at least that cost, not in terms of what they are paying, but in terms of what is its indirect impact, right, to the overall ecosystem. So as I told everyone that we have been successfully convinced our seasonal customer into being a year-round customer. So with the help of this, what happens, like first we try to sell the entire chamber to a dedicated customer, so that we set standards while the temperature is coming. We set standards that this is the cutoff temperature below which will not be able to accommodate the cargo. For example, if there is a frozen chamber, so we have standard cutoffs. Like if we are supposed to maintain a temperature of -18 to 20, so we have a cutoff that will not be able to take a cargo above -16. Right. So when the customer is educated, they also understand. Then because there is quality loss and there is loss of service, so they'll bring a cargo in a healthy temperature, which is the most important. So the first thing is taken care of. You get a healthy chamber. You get minimum air changes because it is for a dedicated customer. So you can regulate the throughput throughout the day. Right? You know that only during this period the chamber will be opening or closing. So at the end of the day, your energy cost for that chamber is overall saved. So this is for warehousing, for example. Now, in terms of logistics, how it is done. So definitely there are set guidelines, like a particular vehicle should be loaded in this much of time. But then again, there are many gaps in the industry, right? People will not be knowing that if they are sending a particular cargo with n number of batches, so they are not knowing that they should do proper segregation of the batches, right? Most of the people will be, loading the truck with a mix of batches, because at the end of the day, while you are offloading the cargo, to make sure you have a proper traceability, you have to align the cargo properly, right? Because different manufacturing companies know have different set of batches, different shifts. So whenever you are supposed to maintain a proper first expiry first out or first in first out, you have this traceability. So we try to educate the customers that whenever they are loading a cargo, they load it in a proper batch and in a minimum time, so that otherwise there will be indirect temperature abuse. If a vehicle is supposed to be loaded in 40 minutes, and if it is taking 160 minutes for the loading of it, while loading the temperature abuse will be there, right? So that is the first leg of temperature abuse. While the cargo is on the wheel, you will have to incur more energy, so you will be burning more fuel, right? While you burn more fuel, you indirectly impact the environment also because of the emissions. And while the same cargo is coming in the warehouse, so if it hasn't maintained the desired temperature, the warehouse will not be able to offload it. So again, here two things come. If the cargo is capable with a plug and play system, so the warehouse may offer them the plug-in so that they maintain the temperature, right? If it is not, again the warehouse, again the vehicle will be standing idle only for maintaining the temperature. So there also your energy goes for a toss. So these
Yes.
are the intervention which we have been trying to do as a company, as well as across the industry. These things are trying to be followed.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that perspective. Mr. Noman, coming to you, you were talking about the Saudi Vision 2030, something like that, and solar advancement in design you were suggesting. So how do smart cold chain solution comply with the regulatory standards for dealing with the pharma logistics and perishables?
Thank you for your question, sir. I will touch a little bit on the other. We talked about the warehousing. But when we talk about technology and when we talk about cold chain logic, we talked about energy conservation and understanding how we can save on the emissions. So when we talk about technology and Bose mentioned data analytics and everything. Before anything can be done, you need to have data. And unfortunately, what happens is that a lot of organizations are not willing to invest in data collection. And when we talk about data collection is the loading time, all these, even to the extent that what is the health of your vehicles, which are moving on the roads, how much maintenance are there, how many times the tire is being replaced, all of these things at the end of the day goes into the energy efficiency of your logistics. So data gathering is mandatory. Without data, you cannot take any decision. Will not have visibility. And when we talk about technologies, and this is what is being deployed also and very much in use in Saudi Arabia, technology is a very integral part of Vision 2030. It's one of the on which Vision 2030 is standing on the digital transformation. That so every product in the pharma, every product is tagged. It's not about the batches. It's not about even a box is tracked. So every box has a QR code. It is tracked from where it was picked.
What regulatory barriers are posing infrastructure challenges for adoption of low carbon refrigeration technology in cold chain sector?
I think rather than regulatory barriers, currently I don't see any compliance or regulatory mechanism in place to even talk about these things. Like other sectors, if we talk about transportation or industry, there are specific compliance mechanisms, there are specific regulatory mechanisms that has to be in place. However, if I just talk about a very simple example of cold store, we have guidelines from NCCD under MIDH. Different, I mean, Ministry of Agriculture has put out some minimum performance standards or minimum standards that can help avail subsidies for cold stores or for other cold chain components. But like for other, if I talk about transportation, roads, NHAI has put out a lot of documentation guidelines on how these need to be built out. We do not have anything in place in terms of cold stores, how the design should have happened. The things that Mr. Shaukat Ali indicated, that is now waiting time here, or this, these are not specific. I mean, there are no specific checks whether this much time is allowed or not. Uh, these all should be actually mandated or at least provided as a guideline by the Ministry of Agriculture that can help in terms of standardizing a lot of these cold chain components. Wherein now the challenge here then comes, these mechanisms cannot be put in place just by one entity, but by one ministry. Here energy consumption is a big thing that comes under. So Ministry of Power needs to come in, Ministry of Agriculture needs to come in fact Ministry of Consumer, MOCI should needs to be there as well. State entity needs to be involved. Industry players need to be involved to, while reviewing such guidelines, such standards when are being developed, to actually make use of these guidelines and make them in a more practical manner.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that, Pasuri. We are running short of time now. We have already exceeded, in fact. So, very quickly, I would be needing answer in one or two sentence. How the smart logistic can create an unbroken cold supply chain? What initiatives can be taken?
Heard patiently, and I'm very happy that I'm getting a lot of information today which I was not aware of. But this is the first thing is the awareness. We need to create more awareness in all these stakeholders for the smart logistics. Unless people are aware, I will give you one small example. In 2000, I was having one, or 2002 or 3, I was having one refrigeration engineer in Snowman who got a complaint about a truck in Guwahati. We were operating from Bangalore, that there was a problem in the truck. We have installed GPS in that. He has connected the GPS through the microprocessor of the refrigeration unit. And from his laptop, he entered in the microprocessor of the refrigeration unit and done the remote correction. That was 2002 or 3. I am not sure whether anybody is doing that today in India. Okay. So awareness. Okay, what is available, we are not being able to utilize. As many things Mr. Bose has listed, that these many things are available. Okay. Or he is monitoring. But whether it is reaching, this information is reaching to every user and operator of the cold chain in India. What can be done? What are the devices? What are the equipments available to control that? We are talking about 30%. Dr. Khushboo Gupta was talking about 30% wastage. 30% wastage, we were talking 30 years ago also. We have not reached yet to 20% or 15%. We are there only. That is because of lack of awareness. And of course, as Dr. Gupta said, that the government agencies, few of the government agencies, ministries should come together to chart a program for revolutionizing cold chain in India. Whatever cold chain companies are doing, they are doing on their own. Snowman is there for 30 years. Where they have reached 150,000 pallets of cold storage. You go to Australia, you will find one cold store of 50,000 pallets, 60,000 pallets with the minimum manpower. I have visited in Melbourne, a cold store in 2006, 45,000 pallets cold store with total manpower of 112 people. When I came back to India in Alana's cold store, for 17,000 pallet tons cold store, there was a manpower required of 600. There for 45,000, there were 115 or 16 people. So much automation is possible. Okay. Are we doing that? Are we ready for that? Okay. The people who are doing, they are not getting the support from the end user because there is a cost to it for everything. Initial cost may be there, but after that, the life will be more comfortable. That's what I have to submit.
Okay, thank you very much.